It is really easy to get under Donald Trump's skin, but to live rent-free in his head, that's a step above, something reserved for a select group of people, and of course the person who has the most space in Donald Trump's very tiny brain is Barack Obama. No one has made Donald Trump more angry, more outraged in the recent weeks than the mere existence of former President Barack Obama, and it's about to get worse for Trump as the latest move of Obama humiliating Trump is causing huge outrage after a leak exposed just how scared Trump is with a new scandal that we're going to get into. But before we do, if I could quickly ask you to leave a like on this video, and if you haven't already and you enjoy our channel, to hit that subscribe button because it goes a long way in supporting our work. Now, before we get into this latest scandal from Donald Trump and what he is hiding, I want to start with a call out we saw from President Obama just a few weeks ago in this clip right here.
Democracy is not self-executing. It requires people, judges, and people in the Justice Department, and people throughout the government who take an oath to uphold the Constitution. It requires them to take that oath seriously, and when that isn't happening, we start drifting into something that is not consistent with American democracy. It is consistent with autocracies. It's consistent with Hungary under Orban. It's consistent with places that hold elections but do not otherwise observe what we think of as a fair system in which everybody's voice matters and people have a seat at the table and there are checks and balances and nobody's above the law.
Now more than ever, we need people standing up and speaking out. And what surprised me over the past couple of weeks is just how many of those people were coming from within Donald Trump's own administration. You think leaks about the Epstein scandal are coming from anywhere other than Donald Trump's own White House? No. Meetings of Kash Patel, Pam Bondi, and the Oval Office with Donald Trump, those are only being reported to the media from people inside those meetings. It's been driving Donald Trump crazy that the leaks continue to come out, that there's obvious turmoil, people trying to protect their own interests. And of course, it's the reason why Donald Trump has leaned so much on trying to spin up a narrative around Barack Obama, attacking him for some fake crime that even he, at this point, doesn't seem to understand. He does understand, though. If he just says Obama's name, he can try to distract the media. But that's failed, not only because of his own idiocy, but because of the recent scandal that we're going to check out. But before we do, I want to take a look at Donald Trump's latest attempt that has just failed to distract.
And I read pretty much what you read. It would be President Obama. He started it. And Biden was there with him. And Comey was there. And Clapper. The whole group was there. Brennan. They were all there in a room. Right here. This was the room. This is much more beautiful than it was then, but that's okay. I have nice pictures up. They came out of the vaults. They were in there for 100 years. This is much more beautiful. We have the Declaration of Independence now in the room, which wasn't here. I guess people didn't feel too good about putting it here, but I do. But you know what? If you look at those papers, they have them stone cold, and it was President Obama. It wasn't lots of people all over the place. It was them too. But the leader of the gang was President Obama.
He sounds as incoherent as ever, and more importantly, he's not focused on any of the promises that he made. Donald Trump seems more concerned with putting in flagpoles, building ballrooms that no one asked for. Interior design, although not something Donald Trump is very good at, seems to be his only passion in this presidency. And that continued to play out alongside his anger with Barack Obama and the latest move that he's taken, which is just completely humiliating. Trump hides Obama-Bush portraits in obscure White House stairwell. The White House makeover continues as the president buries evidence of his recent predecessors. Apparently, Donald Trump doesn't want the public to see reminders of his immediate predecessors when they visit the White House. Portraits of former Presidents Barack Obama, George W. Bush, and George H.W. Bush have been relocated from prominent public display to the top of a staircase that few people can access, CNN reported. According to two CNN sources familiar with the matter, Trump ordered staff to put Obama's portrait at the top of the grand staircase that leads to the White House residence, an area only a few White House staff and Secret Service agents can access. One of those sources also said that both Bush portraits now reside in the same staircase. This counters decades of precedent in White House protocol that historically has praised recent presidents' portraits in places of prominence visible to guests and visitors. This is the second time that Trump has relocated Obama's portrait. The first time he moved it from one side of the White House grand foyer to another. In its place, Trump put a painting of himself raising his fist after the assassination attempt in Butler, Pennsylvania. He has transformed the Oval Office, covering it in tacky gold leaf accents to match the president's gaudy taste. In June, Trump removed a bust of civil rights leader Martin Luther King Jr. from the Oval Office. He also removed a pot of Swedish ivy that had been in the room for 50 years. He tripled how many paintings were displayed on the Oval Office walls. This is all Donald Trump is doing with his presidency. Remodeling to make the White House uglier? That's his goal? And it's also just embarrassing that Trump is so intimidated by the sight of Barack Obama that he had to move his portrait to a place that no one would see it. That he just feels so insecure that he's worried about the public seeing a photo of Barack Obama and thinking back on the good old days. That is what's going on within the mind of a man who claims to be macho, claims to be tough, claims to be strong. And he's anything but that. And I don't know how we as Democrats have for so long allowed Republicans to get away with this. Pretend that they're the tough guys. Pretend that they're the macho men. When they're just scared and sad and easily intimidated. And that makes me think of Greg Abbott, someone scared of Donald Trump, easily intimidated to carry out a mid-decade redistrict, and it's the reason why we now have Democrats standing up, actually being tough, fighting back, and one of them is Governor J.B. Pritzker told us all about his plan to fight back.
So what I can tell you is that the Texas Democrats that are here are welcome. We're providing them a safe haven, a place for them to visit and stay. Breaking quorum because they're heroes that are standing up not just for their own constituents and for the people of Texas and their rights, but also for the rights of people all across the country. Because what Greg Abbott is doing and what Donald Trump is attempting to do is to cheat. Mid-decade here, this is they're attempting to change the map. They know that they're going to lose in 2026, the Congress, and so they're trying to steal seats. And so that is what these Texas Democrats are trying to stand up against. And then don't forget, the map that they put together it violates the Voting Rights Act, and it violates the Constitution. And so thank God for these Texas House Democrats.
Well, let's talk about the issue at hand here. Texas Republicans being urged by President Trump, as you just said, are pushing this mid-decade redistricting plan. Their goal is to add as many as 5 GOP seats. In response to Democrats like yourself are thinking of drawing your own maps to boost seats in blue states. Take a listen to what Texas Governor Greg Abbott told my colleague Ryan Chandler about that. Take a look.
What's your message to governors like Newsom, Hochul, Pritzker, who have said they will retaliate if Texas does this?
They have no capability. They've already gerrymandered their states in ways in which they don't have hardly any Republican members of Congress. Look at the map of Illinois. It's drawn in such a way that they can't even squeeze out another Republican. It's a joke.
What's your response to Governor Abbott?
Well, Governor Abbott is the joke. He's the one who is attempting mid-decade here at a time when, frankly, all of us are concerned about the future of democracy. He's literally helping whittle it away and licking the boots of his leader, Donald Trump. Here in Illinois, we followed the law. We provided a map and passed a map that follows the Voting Rights Act and the Constitution and the laws of the state of Illinois. He's attempting to thwart federal law and take away 5 seats that are in the hands of black, brown, minority congresspeople and the people that they represent. He's taking those votes away. He's violating the Constitution. And all of us need to stand up and speak out and make sure that it's understood across the country that what they're trying to do in Texas is illegal.
Well, Governor, it might be illegal. It's not unprecedented, though, or it might be rare, I should say. But Texas actually tried to redraw districts mid-decade before in 2003, and the U.S. Supreme Court actually upheld the map in that case with the exception of one district. So the argument that Abbott is making is it's not illegal, though they are doing it certainly in an off year. But I do want to look at the map of Illinois. Let's take a look at this. Despite President Trump winning 44% of the statewide vote in 2024, Republicans hold only 3 of Illinois' 17 districts. These districts seem to be designed to maximize Democratic advantage. What do you say to those who argue that it's hypocritical for you to criticize Texas for partisanship when your state also drew maps to boost your party's standing?
Well, remember that what Texas is trying to do is, again, violate the Voting Rights Act. We didn't. We held public hearings, legislative hearings. People attended them. They spoke out. There was a map that was put out. There were actually changes made to the map, and a map was passed. And it was done at the end of the census, the decennial census. So that's how it's done in this country.
This is what real toughness and real strength actually looks like: standing up to the bully, not succumbing to the bully, letting the bully mock your wife, Ted Cruz, humiliate you daily, Lindsey Graham, make comments on the size of your Marco Rubio, and then just fall in line. Again, this idea that Republicans are somehow the tough guys has always baffled me, that they can get away with this. Just because they go to a UFC fight and throw up like a shaka, Cash Patel, "What's up, guys? I'm at UFC. I like beer." You don't. And your wife, I think, is a secret agent. We're doing a video on this soon. I think Cash Patel's wife is like a psyop. Or girlfriend or whatever she is. I think that she's like an agent of some state, of some enemy. I'm getting us off track here. These are not tough guys. I'm not going to pretend like it any longer, and Democrats shouldn't allow them to get away with it. That's why we're seeing a lot of them fight back. Appreciate you, Gav. And we're going to be talking about that on this show every single day. And if you want to support that, as always, you can hit that subscribe button, leave a like on this video, and if you stuck around to the end, drop a blue heart in the comments. And until next time, I'll see you soon.